Silence is a good thing. It's important to let your thoughts be, in terms of not trying to make yourself think of anything, but to just let them do what they need to do. Because it is just thinking. You don't have to do anything with it. It is annoying to have all kinds of varying degrees of thoughts, for sure, but they're not really that important. And it's more important that you know that, rather than to worry too much about what your thoughts are. And I say this because I think as humans we put too much emphasis on our thinking in terms that is who we are and that's how we live our life, and thinking helps us. But there is a place where thoughts do come from, whether that ends up just being our brain, but we're able to understand that we can think beyond that. And if you do think about it, you can understand that. And think of it like our thoughts as humans. Our thoughts as humans, man. No, in all seriousness, our thoughts as humans are like the leaves on a tree. The leaves don't exist without the root, without the tree itself. And I think that what happens in human life is that we think that our thoughts are the tree itself, and it's just not. Because we can understand that there's more to it than that. And because there's more to it, in my opinion, our thoughts are not the actual identity of ourselves. It doesn't mean that what's beyond that is something religious, or that you have to believe in something spiritual. It's just, if you think about it, if you spend time thinking about it, you can understand that. And that's what it means to live as the tree instead of just the leaves. If we live as the root of ourselves, if we live that in the world, if we live that all the time, our problems will diminish. We will not have as much stress. We will not have as much worldwide problems. Nothing will be perfect. This isn't about obtaining perfection. But it will be significantly reduced for the unnecessary stress and problems that we create ourselves through our own thoughts, through our own way of living, that we think we are just the leaves instead of the root itself. We won't get rid of thoughts. There's no reason for that, because that's just the way it is, in my opinion. And there's no reason for it, because we need to use our thinking for certain things. And if you are aware that you can let your thoughts go on their own, then when you have all kinds of different thoughts, you understand that it's not the thoughts themselves that mean anything. It's the ability to be aware of it. It's the ability to understand that. And that ability to understand that is something only an individual can know. And you have to realize it. It has to come through realization. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to join a religion. You don't have to spend hours of study. It's not about having to do anything to realize it. It's just your ability to understand that, because those realizations can happen at any time. And it doesn't necessarily take any certain amount of time for those things to happen. Sometimes it can. Sometimes it can take not that much time. Sometimes it can take a long time. But that is why realization can happen at any moment, because it has nothing to do with time. It's just, it will be there. This dialogue is not a substitute for realization. Nothing will ever be a substitute for true realization on that or anything that involves some kind of realization. The realization will have to come from your own self. You can live life as the leaves if you want. There's no rule against it. But you will have unnecessary stress and problems in your life. And if you want that, that's fine. And sometimes it is hard to live as the person that you sense yourself to be. But at the same time, it's not. It's a matter of what you're able to sense of yourself, what you can do to live as that, how you can understand how to live as that, because this will all have to come from you and your own individual realization and understanding of that. And nothing will be perfect, even as you live as the person you sense yourself to be. There's always going to be something that may seem imperfect, but it's the knowing that you're living as the person you sense yourself to be that is what matters most. And even right now, as I break for a little bit of not talking There are thoughts that will come on their own, and you just have to think them and listen to them, but don't listen to them. Just let them come, let them speak, however you want to word it. Your thinking is not your identity. It is not really who you are or we are as humans. Thinking is just another tool in the toolbox. Once you live as the person you sense yourself to be, once you see how things go in your own existence, this will make sense, if it doesn't already. When you live as the person you sense yourself to be, when you do that as best you can, which is all that matters, you will see the changes in your life. And on the other side of it is that, yes, we are all physical beings as well, and there's a certain element physically that is just as important as well. In addition to all of what I've just said, you also have to listen to what your body is telling you as well. And that includes anything you can think of, and it's not limited to what I'm going to list off, but how you eat, how you walk, how you move your body in terms of every type of instance you're using your body. Anything you can think of, let your body do what it needs to do. And also, our bodies are physically bound to the planet. Yes, we've, as humans, gone into outer space, but for the most part, our lives are spent on the planet and in accordance with nature. This doesn't mean you need to go out into any kind of nature setting and spend time with nature. While you can do that, of course, that's fine. But you're always with nature no matter what your day-to-day life is, and whatever you sense yourself to be, you're going to live that in this life. You're still in accordance with nature because you're sensing what you can about yourself. And your body can only take so much, because we all, no matter who you are, no matter what your position is in society, we all have to eat, we all have to sleep, we all have to drink water if our bodies are going to sustain. It is best to trust your body, understand its truest sense of how to move your body through your life as well. And in conjunction with how you sense yourself to be, that combination in a way is really all that you can do. And it is from that that you will understand what kind of person you sense yourself to be, whether that's one thing or many things. Because we do have to live also as our bodies through this life as well. It's important to understand how you want to treat your body as well. And really, there's not a choice that you have, because if you are forcing your body, then you're going to have, again, unnecessary stress and problems in your life. But if you're trusting your instincts, you're doing what you can on that, you will see in your own life, as you go about your day-to-day life, that in general, things are fine. You will feel good. And what I'm talking about, what I've been talking about here, is something that any person can do. This is not anything special in terms of you have to have some kind of talent, you have to be born into something. This is innate human nature. And if we all try and put ourselves out there as the person that we sense ourselves to be, which only you can understand truly, then we will have less problems and less stresses overall in human existence. Nothing will be perfect, but when we come across those things that are not so perfect, it's a lot easier to work with and deal with than human-made egotistical stress. As long as you're doing what you can, as long as you're really trying, life will, in some way, let you know that you're doing what's right for you. Whether that be through a realization, through a thought you have, through something as you're going about life, some kind of situation that happens that shows you that you're trying, you're doing the right thing. It's more important that you do that than try and force something or try and be something that you're really not. Which you're more than welcome to do. And there's no rule against it, but understand that you will probably have more stress and problems in your life that you don't need, and that's being caused by you. Yes, there are circumstances that will cause stress that are outside forces, but if you're trying or you're living as what you sense yourself to be, then those outside stresses are a lot easier to deal with, and they're not really as stressful as you might imagine. You might think that, oh, it's a pain and it's this that you've got to take care of and all that, yes, but as you let your thoughts be about it, if you're aware of that and you can understand that you're just letting your thoughts be negative about those kinds of things, your sense of self knows that you're just thinking about those kinds of things in that way because that's what seems natural to do in those kinds of moments. And then you do what you can with those situations that are outside stress situations. And if you do what you can with those, then you don't have stress because you've done what you can. And maybe the problem gets resolved, maybe it doesn't, maybe some of it does, some of it doesn't, but the point is that you do what you can with it, and that's what matters most. Because you only have so much energy you can do in a day, because we all have to rest, we all have to eat, we all have to drink water. Our self is ever present, but there are certain limitations that we have physically that we can't sustain that all the time. And there may be days where you can sustain more than not, but you know that. You know what you can handle on whatever given day, whatever given moment. Life is just not that complicating to the degree of what we think it is. There are things that, yes, we as humans over time have figured out what would be better shelter than not, how we can have more food plentiful, but a lot of our problems are from our own human egos and things we want, things we think we want, and if we just let ourselves understand that we only need to sense what we need to sense for ourselves, then we eliminate a lot of that. And everybody benefits from that. If you give everybody that chance, no matter who they are, that change will, I believe, change everything. But it has to come from the individual. It has to come from your sense of realization. It has to come from the fact that you're not going to make yourself be somebody that you're not. You have to be willing to be that. And if people don't want to, that is fine. That's their choice. But we will continue to have unnecessary problems, and no matter what you do, nothing is going to fix that except people just being what they sense themselves to be. And we need to create a society that allows that. It needs to be common sense, common knowledge in a society. And I don't mean just domestic society. This is worldwide. This affects everybody. If you give people that chance to sense that about themselves, that creates that much more of that energy in the world, and we take out the energy we don't need and we put the energy in that we do need, and we have a more relaxed world. We have a more naturally productive world, and a better overall healthy world too. It can go on and on with any kind of thing like that, but it's beneficial, and we don't even need to market it as beneficial. It's just nature itself. Nature doesn't care if we go against it. It's gonna win all the time anyway. We're not ever gonna be better than that. But we don't have to be, because we are that. We're never going to be better than that, because all the stars that have exploded in space throughout time, that have been considerably larger than planet Earth itself, why would humans have any real effect on that? There's no reason to do that. If we live as ourselves, and naturally we find a way to somehow go beyond that, then that's the only way we can go beyond that, is through that way of living, not by what we're primarily doing now. I think that's all that I'm going to say for now. But thank you for watching and or listening. This is a dude named Jason. I will see you when I see you again.